This is how it happened. This is how the Batman died.
Whoa, we're not there yet. Let's rewind it a bit. Not that. Now that's correct. Batman Arkham Asylum, the first game of the Arkham franchise, and some believe it to be the best. But that could always be nostalgia talking. And with me wanting to go back down memory lane, playing the games I played as a kid, but not just playing them, but 100% completing them, it was only fitting that the first Batman game I ever played would be on that list. So I booted up the game and began my journey through the game. And it was just as I remembered, as a kid. From Batman killing Bane to the amazing levels of Scarecrow, the slog that is Killer Croc, and, Poison Ivy. Anyways, enough with the setup, let's get into the actual game. We would begin the game by escorting Joker into the asylum, and who would have guessed, the moment he was away from me, he would break out. I mean, it's not like this place is known for breakouts or anything, it seems like a very well-secured asylum. After busting through the window, we would enter our first combat of the playthrough. This was actually the first time I had ever played the game on mouse and keyboard. And I can see why it was made for controller in the first place. It just seemed off and clunky. And I know the visuals may look off with the black borders. They are later changed as I had the game on a weird resolution to start with. And while fighting the prisoners, we would actually get a combo score of 5, unlocking us our first trophy of this playthrough. Beating up the prisoners, we would collect our first Riddler trophy, and we would begin the hunt for Joker. As we made our way through the asylum, we would eventually run into Victor Zsasz, and after taking him down, we would earn our second trophy of the playthrough. After seeing that Harley Quinn had captured the Warden, we would make our way to a room filled with toxic gas. We would actually get one of 2 missable trophies here, rescuing both the guard and the henchman. After leaving the room of gas, we would eventually track the Joker back to the prison transportation system, or whatever it's called, and after he freed Bane's cousin, Zane, we would begin our first Titan fight. And forgetting how to fight the Titans, I would just kind of bash into him, but over time he would succumb to his own heart and would die, popping us our 4th trophy of the game. After his death, Joker would reveal to us that Frank betrayed us, knocking out Commissioner Gordon and dragging him away. After returning back to the starting area, we would track his flask to find his location. And in doing so, Harley Quinn would greet us at the elevator and would not so nicely call it down for us. And by that I mean she exploded it, and it almost killed us. As we reached the top of the elevator, we would actually find a group of goons, and we would actually get the combo score of 10, unlocking us another trophy. After finding Frank had been betrayed by supervillains, I mean, honestly, who would have guessed, we finally arrive to the exit of the intensive treatment. As we looked out on the courtyard, looking at Arkham Mansion, Botanical Gardens, Wayne Tower, and the city of Arkham, we would be free of the entreatment and would gain our 6th trophy of the game. After getting a distress call from the Batmobile, we would head over there, seeing a group of goons trashing it. We would fight them off, and it would be quite the breeze as they did not stand any test to me, and after taking them out, we would loot the back of the Batmobile, where we would find explosive gel. It is perfect for opening walls, stunning enemies, and finding Riddler trophies. Speaking of which, we would actually find a nearby floor that we could blow up that housed the Riddler trophy. I'm not going to show all of them, just the ones that result in me getting a trophy like that one there. We would then head to the medical wing where we would talk to the doctors. They would ask me to go free 3 of their fellow colleagues. After releasing the room of poisonous gas here, we would drop down, saving Dr. Kellerman, and scanning a newspaper clip of Firefly would actually unlock us our next Riddler trophy, getting 10% of all trophies. After then being ambushed while trying to rescue Dr. Chen, we would then fight off the attackers. They would be a breeze just like every other fight we've had. And after rescuing Dr. Chen, we would then make our way to Dr. Young. Now this was even easier than the rest, as we just went up to 2 nearby walls, sprayed some of the explosive gel on it, like I said, it would come in handy, and then we just detonated it, taking out every single person in the room except Dr. Young. After rescuing her, we rescued all 3, unlocking us our 9th trophy. After experiencing some pretty wild hallucinations that I think are caused by Scarecrow, not sure yet, we find our dead father and mother in the morgue. That's kind of weird. The 3rd body bag, I don't know who it could be. Oh, it turned out to be Scarecrow. You know, who would have guessed? But in doing so, this would actually lead us to one of the greatest boss fights in this game, and probably in the history of all the Arkham games, the Scarecrow fight. Just the atmosphere and the immersion that it brings, having to dodge his light, not getting caught, and turning into Scarecrow and back into Batman. It's just a great atmosphere that it sets, and we would eventually take down Scarecrow by shining the spotlight on him, and in doing so would actually award us their 10th trophy in the game. We would then begin our rescue of Jim Gordon by taking down Harley Quinn. I honestly thought this fight would be more than what it was. We would then find Bane, who Joker would then pump up with Venom, putting him back at his full strength. He would then charge at us, triggering our first technical boss fight if you don't count Scarecrow. Trap? After that embarrassment of a fight, we would finally take down Bane with a sliver of HP left. I mean, he was technically a hard boss, and unlock us our next trophy. We would then send Bane into the Gotham River alongside our Batmobile, only if we could do that in Arkham Knight. We would then make our way into the Batcave, where we would get the grapple launcher to pull things. We would then head into the caverns, where we would have enough room to complete the catch achievement, to throw a remote control Batarang and then catch it as Batman, unlocking us our next trophy. We would then enter in through Arkham Mansion after Joker had reinforced it, giving us another trophy in that. After scanning Jim Gordon's picture in the library, we would get another trophy, and then walking down a suspiciously long hallway that would actually end in us turning into Crime Alley as we see our dead parents again, but this time we become a little boy. You know, last time we saw our dead parents, Scarecrow was involved, so it kind of makes me think he's involved again. I mean, what can I say? The dude has a pattern. I think we should start to understand it, but this one actually adds another element to it. He summons these skeleton things that are actually very brittle and pose no challenge, and we end up actually flipping the light on him once more, unlocking us another Scarecrow achievement. After taking Scarecrow down, we would find ourselves in the top of the bell tower of the main hall. Knocking down the bell, we would go try to save Dr. Young from Victor Zsasz by throwing a Batarang at Zsasz. Doing so would actually unlock us another achievement, saving Dr. Young's life. But apparently she didn't value it enough because she then lost it moments later. We would then awake to see Harley Quinn holding the warden hostage, and we would use the stick that breaks off here to track the warden, freeing him. After freeing the warden, we would then continue to track Harley Quinn down throughout the building. We would stumble across a cell with a Harvey Dent poster, and that would actually be the answer to the riddle of this area. Solving the riddle would actually give us a trophy, and we would then track Harley Quinn down to this arena. She would then have us fight off her goons in this electrical style arena where the floor kept shocking us. The goons were not that hard, and we ended up beating them pretty easily. After that, Harley Quinn would try to attack us. We would lock her up for another achievement, and then we would track her fingerprints into the botanical gardens, where we would find the Joker working on his Titan serum. After confronting him about it, he would then get kind of defensive and hostile, very victim blamey, and would actually pull a gun on us, but would actually shoot his comrades, turning them into giant Titan behemoth things that we would end up having to fight. And this fight would actually be quite easy. They threw two of them at us, yet surprisingly they were not difficult at all, and it was quite a breeze of a fight. Doing this on hard mode was kind of difficult later on, but on normal mode right now, it wasn't that difficult at all. You just had to dodge one, throw batarangs, and before we knew it, we had them beat. And doing so would actually unlock us an achievement for taking down 2 Titans at once. We would then go talk to Poison Ivy, where she would tell us we need to go into Croc's lair to get the special serum to stop the Titan from spreading across the island. We would then leave the Botanical Gardens, but before then we would get an easy trophy of knocking down a henchman from a gargoyle that's suspended. I'm surprised I already haven't got that one, but there it is. We would then get another Riddler trophy for another trophy, and then the biggest character development in the entire game is Scarecrow not using my dead parents as a signal of his gas, but instead crashing my game, or at least pretending to crash my game and pretending to restart my game from the very beginning. Funny enough, if you're trying to skip the cutscene, instead of the button normally appearing to skip, it says J instead for Joker, because the roles have now been swapped. Batman is now the criminal, and Joker and his goons are now the guards of Arkham. He leads us through the halls like we led him, but this time shooting us and killing us. We then revive ourselves from the grave and are now in a new Scarecrow level. Once again, these are always my favorite levels in these games, and this part of the Scarecrow missions are my favorite. After dropping the light on him again, he then ups the dosage on us without our consent, putting us back in his realm. This time, instead of hiding from the shadows, we enter a gauntlet with his bone creatures. It is quite easy and not much of a challenge. They quite fall, and then we finally rid Scarecrow from existence, getting us the trophy. The last Scarecrow trophy. We then jump down the elevators, where we then fight off a bunch of goons, and actually we get the 20-man combo during this. Scarecrow is then kidnapped by Killer Croc and drugged into the water. We do have to save him from death though, as Killer Croc definitely would have torn him apart had we not thrown a batarang to save Scarecrow's life. I hope we don't see him again. But we delve into Croc's lair nonetheless, and this is probably the slowest portion of the game, as we must physically walk slow, and every time Croc appears, throw a batarang at him. We collect the spores and then make our way out of Croc's lair. As we get to the exit, he then appears for the last time, chasing us as we run to the exit, where we placed some explosive gel earlier, and when he runs over it, we detonated it, sending him into the abyss, or the Shadow Realm for short. Doing all this gives us another trophy, and we end up heading to the sewage area where the water pipes are, where we have to fight off a Titan and a bunch of goons. In this area, we do get on the back of the Titan and begin riding him for the achievement of knocking down 5 goons on the back of the Titan. This was the easiest place to do it, as there was only one Titan, and everywhere else we fight the Titans, there's more of them. So after riding on the back of the Titan for a bit, we do end up getting the achievement, and we end up beating everyone. We then glide for the 100 meters. I'm surprised I already didn't have it. And then we go back to the Botanical Gardens, where we end up fighting Poison Ivy. This boss fight was relatively easy, and I did it on my first attempt. The first phase was probably the easiest, as you just have to dodge and throw your batarangs. The second phase is where things get harder, as you start summoning tiny security goons, but it was still easy enough, and we end up taking her out with no sweat. In doing so, detonating her and sending her away, we ended up getting another achievement. These things are just popping like flies. They're not really that hard. These bosses haven't been that difficult, and that's kind of a staple of these games. After beating Poison Ivy and getting the achievement, we can now set up for the final fight against Joker. Finally arriving to where Joker is, we immediately fight all the goons for our welcoming party, getting the second missable achievement in this game. We almost get a combo score of 40, but are hit at the very last moment. Nevertheless, we take everyone out, getting the achievement, and we set up for the final fight against Joker, as he summons 2 more of his Titan guys, and once again they're a piece of cake just like every other Titan we fought. After taking them out, we then take a bullet for old Jim Gordon to save his life. The bullet did in fact have the Titan syrup in it, and after we refuse to turn, Joker then shoots himself with it, turning himself into a Titan. And really, all that changes about him is he gets a mohawk. I mean, nothing else seems different about the Joker. I mean, this should be a good final fight against the Joker. Well, I would say that, but it was actually probably the lamest final boss of the entire Arkham series, as all you do is just have to pull Joker down, and when he gets stuck, you just run up to him and you punch him. That's it. After taking Joker down, we are rewarded with 2 achievements, one for beating the game on easy and the other for normal, as we were playing on normal difficulty. And after beating the story, we can now focus on the Riddler trophies, getting all of them that remain. We would then get one for 70%. We would then head out again, getting one for the 85%. We would then eventually get the very last Riddler trophy. We'd then head back into the Penitentium, where we would find the last Chronicle of Arkham, getting that trophy as well. With all the trophies done, we would then head into challenge mode, and this is probably where the grind started. This is where I was actually going insane. The first one wasn't that hard. We just had to beat a combat challenge, so I loaded up the first one without taking a single hit. And when I say that this was probably the easiest one out of all of them, know that, because after this, everything went downhill. I first decided just to tackle all of them in a row to see how well I could do. and it was bad. But in doing this, I was able to take some of them down with 3 or 2 stars and was able to actually get the 8 medals for Predator Challenge while doing this. If this was a sign to come, things would look bright and optimistic, but they are not. I would spend 3 hours. As you can see here, I set up perfect for the line grapple and it didn't work. Frustrated at that, let me tell you. So many of these Predator challenges are RNG, as you'll see later on, where people have to line up, you have to take out multiple people with a wall. Here, I finally get it. I have all 3 stars. All I have to do is finish this out, and I will get this complete. And as soon as I pop up, for some reason I decided to try to line grapple him again, and I die. I was livid at this point. So I reload, and finally, after 30 more minutes, I would finally complete this one. Just this one. There's a ton more on 3 stars. It is the most grueling thing ever, and I was actually going insane. I swapped over to combat just to get my mind away from it. I would get 8 medals in the combat challenges. I still needed to get the perfect 3 on all of them. I would then get 16 more medals for the Predator challenges. I would still need a total of 8 more before I could be completely done with Predator altogether. So, and this one right here. Use Ultra Bat Claw to pull 3 henchmen. The amount of times that I tried this, and every time one of them survived, 2 of them survived, maybe none of them even went over it. It was just so grueling. So many times I would find myself sitting in a corner waiting for 3 people to walk by, and they just never would. But finally, after so long, I would finally get this one, and the rest of them are easy. I just pulled the 2 in the back, and then I finally pop out of this grate, and I was so ecstatic. Having that done, I would then move on to the very last one, getting all 24 Predator Challenge medals. All that remains now is the combat, and the combat was way easier than the Predator because it was pure skill, not RNG. I finally take down and get the 16 medals after about halfway through all of the challenges, just leaving the rest of the 8. This one right here, I tried so many times, and with time running out and my score so close to 3,000, I didn't think I was going to get it. It literally, the time is over. It's 0 seconds right now, and I have all 3 stars. In the very last frame, I hit the guy, and it counted. I was so insanely ecstatic. If I would have failed, I would have been so distraught. And here, I finally get the 40 combo on this Titan by just wailing into him, getting that achievement out of the way. And later on in this very showdown, I would finally surpass and get 50,000 in that challenge, unlocking all 24 combat medals and getting the 100% night achievement. Perfect night for completing every challenge, but I still had some achievements left. I had to load up into a Predator match, not take any damage, and only eliminate people with Silent Night. I would then load up a hard gameplay so I could then complete the story on hard mode for the very last story achievement. I also had 2 more achievements that I was going to pick up along the way. The first one is taking down a Titan without using a Batarang. Right here in the Joker fight in the Botanical Garden, I would do this very thing. Finally taking down a Titan without using a Batarang, getting that achievement. It was quite hard because I had to rely on the other Titan to deal damage when I couldn't. I would then finally beat the Joker on hard mode, getting that achievement. I would then load up one final combat challenge for the very last achievement, the perfect free flow, where I had to get a perfect combo using all of Batman's gadgets: his Bat Claw, his evade, his cape, his Batarang, his throw, his ground pound, and his above takedown. This was actually quite easy, and I don't know how I didn't do this sooner, but I would officially get it, completing the game. As you can see here, here's all 47 achievements unlocked. This was a blast of a playthrough to do to go down memory lane. The nostalgia of the game was there, and it has not faded. The gameplay was nice and good once I switched from keyboard and mouse back to the controller, which I was more comfortable in. It took me 19 hours to get all the achievements, which was about half as short as what it took to do Fallout 4. So if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do, please make sure to turn on the bell so you can get notified of all the latest videos that come out. We will continue our all achievement run as we go down more games of my childhood, games that I love and adore. So I can't wait to experience more of these platinums or 100%ing games with you guys. So if you did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.